Who is the Valonqar in George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire? Here is a theory that I came up with on the Euron stream that we did earlier this year on Teflon TV's channel. In the books, the phrase, "all that you hold dear," is used just 3 times. Twice, we see the words in Cersei's chapters when she is thinking of Maggie the Frog's Valonqar prophecy. And my friend No, or No to the Fourth Power pointed out that once Victarion thought, quote, "One day I shall drink your wine, crow's eye, and take from you all that you hold dear." Since George R. R. Martin sometimes takes a little bit of time to write his books, he presumably chooses his words carefully, so it begs the question, did George R. R. Martin use that, quote, "all that you hold dear" phrase to hint at Victarion being a second Valonqar? Not anything related to Cersei or prophecy, but is it a cheeky little clue that Victarion will strangle his older brother Euron? Victarion's older brother Euron raped Victarion's wife, and because of that, Victarion killed her. So Victarion hates Euron, and he wants him to die. In fact, Victarion has thought about killing Euron at least 9 times so far, so that's point number 1. Victarion's desire to kill Euron is an ongoing plot point. And on top of that, Victarion has already strangled someone with his new and improved arm. So it looks like George R. R. Martin might be setting up Victarion to do it to his older brother Euron, and if so, then Victarion would be sort of a second Valonqar. But there's a problem. Euron had 8 brothers. 3 of his half-brothers died as infants. 1 died in his youth from an infection, and Euron killed 3 of his other 4 brothers so far. Victarion is the only brother left. Victarion is one of the most formidable warriors in the story, but George R. R. Martin gave us a fight scene in which he specifically pointed out that Victarion's fighting style relies on taking blows to give blows. Victarion relies on trusting that his armor will protect him, especially in the one versus many fight. But unfortunately, Euron has Valyrian steel armor, and Valyrian steel armor is the kryptonite to Victarion's fighting style, so if they fight, my money's unfortunately on Euron, even though Victarion is probably the better fighter on an even ground. But Victarion still may be the Valonqar. Check this out. My friend Gray from the YouTube channel Gray Area pointed out that she believes that Euron is currently warging the Dusky Woman. And it makes sense. Euron gave the Dusky Woman to Victarion as a gift, and 4 times Victarion thought to himself that Euron's gifts are poisoned. Victarion first thought about slitting her throat and tossing the Dusky Woman into the sea, but he didn't do it. Instead, Victarion slept with her, and part of him may even care for her now. And here's the kicker. Victarion likes the Dusky Woman because she can't talk, since Euron had cut out her tongue before gifting her to Victarion. So Victarion confides to the Dusky Woman and tells her things that he would never tell anyone else, since she can't tell anyone what he said. For instance, Victarion told the Dusky Woman that he could kill Euron, and Victarion told the Dusky Woman that he is not going to get Dany for Euron, he's going to make the Dragon Queen his own. So basically, George R. R. Martin gave us at least 4 clues that Euron has given Victarion a poison gift. Since Victarion confides his secrets to the Dusky Woman, odds are she is the poison gift. And how so? In theory, Euron is warging the Dusky Woman to spy on Victarion. And if this is true, that means that Euron knows that Victarion speaks about killing him, and Euron knows that Victarion is going to try to marry Dany himself. And if Dany returns to Westeros with Victarion and his fleet, then Euron will know where they are and he'll be able to plan an ambush. And yes, this is a Valonqar video, so we will get back to that, but we have to mention the other implication of Euron warging the Dusky Woman. Victarion is currently having sex with the Dusky Woman. That means that Victarion may have unknowingly had sex with his brother Euron. Not as bad as Ramsay warging dogs and banging Jane Poole, but it's pretty twisted. It's definitely an abomination, and as a reminder, Victarion's younger brother Aeron Damphair still has nightmares of his older brother Euron coming into his bedroom at night and sexually assaulting their younger brother. So it's par for the course. If Euron is warging the Dusky Woman so as to spy on Victarion, then he most likely has had virtual sex with Victarion, and he probably liked it. But back on track. Here is the Victarion Valonqar theory. The term "all that you hold dear" was used just 3 times, twice in terms of Cersei's Valonqar prophecy, and once in terms of Victarion thinking about taking everything that Euron holds dear. George R. R. Martin may have done that intentionally to suggest that Victarion is also a Valonqar of sorts. Euron cut out the Dusky Woman's tongue and gave her to Victarion, and Victarion has worried 4 times about Euron's gifts being poisoned, so in theory, the Dusky Woman is the poisoned gift. Euron is currently warging her so as to spy on Victarion. Meanwhile, Moqorro has healed Victarion's arm, so Victarion's arm is now stronger than ever, and Victarion has already choked someone to death with it. So the groundwork is there. If Victarion chokes the Dusky woman to death in the Winds of Winter while Euron is warging her, then this line here of "all that you hold dear" will prove to be a nice little nod to the fact that Victarion Greyjoy is also a Valonqar by strangling an avatar of his older sibling, Euron.